Happy Halloween. Welcome to the studio. It's Piper. And today it's Morticia. I've got on a whole black getup. This is actually Tam's velveteen dress layered on with this retro chic off the shoulder top that I got a year ago. And I think this is the perfect pairing to stay comfortable because tonight my friend group and I were going deep into Queens somewhere to do a corn maze. Everybody is shocked when I tell them that because they don't know. But Queens is a huge borough. There's lots and lots outside of the reaches of the subway system. I also don't know how Jay found out about this. She was so excited about it though, talking about it all summer, saying that she wants to do this bucket list thing for fall. And I believe this week is actually the final week. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do a whole smoky eye just yet because frankly I'm gonna feel distracted because doing like dark goth makeup is just not really my thing. It's not really my vibe, and I'm gonna be more excited to put on like a smoky eye at the end of the night. It's gonna be like a big transformation. That way I can still like snap into creativity today. Like I have a lot of things to make for the store and things to design. So frankly, like if I had on goth smoky eye makeup, I wouldn't feel as focused. It's funny to say, but that is actually how I feel in truth. I'm talking to you very candidly, October notes, about where I'm at right now in life. I find that it's kind of surprising to be reflective and gather these thoughts and expose them to you, which is I'm becoming very aware of the wounds that I still have, or maybe that I've always been coping with. And as I grow older and have more experiences and more highs and more lows, I'm more perceptive about them and understanding of the patterns of how I wind up feeling a certain way. So I was really excited for On Brand with Jimmy Fallon to finally debut because it's something that I worked so hard on. I think it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, if not the hardest thing I've done. And a lot of my heart and soul went into that, just like getting myself to be a good public speaker or improving on that and getting over a lot of fears, because at a certain point when I decided I really wanted to be a part of this and be able to compete, I felt like there was no going back, and you just have to do your best. So at so many moments, I guess like it feels, or even watching myself back on TV, it feels like it was so effortless and it was just natural to me, but they made it look easier, I think, than it truly felt. But that's kind of what editing does. When you only have like a few minutes, you don't get to see the nitty gritty. But I knew when premiere week was coming around that this is going to be a very crazy week of like dopamine highs, because we have like the appearances and we have like parties and all of the people in my life like showing up and rallying and like telling me how great I am, or just congratulations for this achievement and this milestone. And that's beautiful. It was followed by a week of going to Utah. So my best friends and I went to Norway the same time last year, and we wanted to go see the Northern Lights. It actually fell on my birthday, so I was able to spend my birthday with my best friends in Norway. We went to an escape room, and it was a very like nocturnal schedule because there's not too many hours of daylight to begin with. We just stayed up really late. Either it was Jay and me watching Netflix in bed, or we played board games until like 2 a.m. and we took it easy. It was a very like B&B cozy cabin trip. So there was a lot of bonding time, but this time in Utah it was different because we wanted to go see the national parks. We visited Bryce Canyon and Zion National Park. So the trip really evolved around going to the hikes that we really wanted to see. So Angel's Landing. You cannot hike this unless you're permitted, and I think every day they give out 800 spots, and you have to enroll like months before, if not weeks. I'm not sure, but I'll leave the link below so you can check it out if you're interested in showing up We actually only got 6 spots. So there was one extra person in our group, and we're like, oh my gosh, like who's gonna sit out, not be able to do this with us? And they also have a 24-hour raffle window. So there's the one that's like planning ahead, and then there's the one that you can do the day before. And we all entered to hopefully just get one extra permit, and it went through. Vince, my partner, he was lucky and he got the extra ticket. So all 7 of us ended up going on Angel's Landing. And the reason why it requires permit is because of the terrain itself. It's pretty narrow and dangerous. So crowds is like a no way kind of thing. And probably also to just preserve the terrain, I would assume that like foot traffic might wear it down if not strictly like watched over. So they're super strict about that, and apparently you'd be fined like $5,000 if you just charged through. But they had multiple rangers there, like eagle eye watching everybody, and at the time it was like government shut down too, but they were still volunteering and being there for everyone's safety and for the safety of the land. And it just felt very special. That was my favorite hike of the whole experience. We also did the Narrows, which is where we like suit up in these water resistant bibs. I say water resistant because our shoes are just like completely soaking wet, but we had neoprene socks. So I didn't get too used to that, and it was really cold, but we had like a waterproof overall on. So it was really fun, and like I felt like I had my inner child come out, just going against the current when everybody was on the little pebble tracks. I purposely was like the only one in the water because it still just felt fun to trudge through the water with your walking stick. So that was really cute. But like it was a short trip. It was a long weekend. I did spend my birthday there. My partner surprised me with the Cirque du Soleil show, which is like one of my favorite things. I'm more of like a Cirque du Soleil acrobat and dance performance type of goer than like a Broadway musical, unless I really love the songs or I'm like familiar with the story. Otherwise, 100% I love watching acrobats and gymnasts. I think like in another life, I would love to be one of these performers. It just like gives me goosebumps and makes me feel so alive watching them. So I really enjoyed that, and it was such a sweet birthday surprise. I want to say a quick thank you to Dawang, the New York-based clothing studio atelier. They gifted me the dress I wore on my birthday. It's actually ironic because the dress is called Gao, and my what do you call it, like my government surname is that. So I was like, oh, this is like my dress. It has such a cute high split, and it looks kind of like, what do you call those high stocking leggings with the clip? Can't remember what it's called because it's not part of my normal attire, but it gives that vibe. So it's like a little bit sensual and sexy and very bold, and I felt very confident and eloquent and demure all at once. So I loved wearing this outfit. It was perfect for Vegas, and the reason why we were in Vegas is because traveling from New York to go to Utah, that's actually the closest airport that we all went to, and then rented cars and went out to Utah to hike on. So that was a huge part of my month, and you know, continuing the whole like dopamine high, everything is just a celebration, always looking forward to something. I knew that it was gonna come with like a halt, like my body is going to feel this like depletion of like, yeah, and I felt that because over time, like it's not healthy, it's not normal for you to be always on social media and like looking at these wins and experiencing it as if it's going to be like every moment of every day. When the dust settled and I'm like trying to go back to my normal life and shopkeeping, I was super excited because somebody joined our team this month. She's an artist that had reached out a while ago. We've been like keeping tabs and emailing back and forth and calling, and her name is Anna. She's been looking for another studio or art shop to work at because she's had experience at this other very lovely boutique called From Here to Sunday in Brooklyn, and I'm a very big fan of that shop, and I've seen their work in their galleries. And so Anna has had experience doing events and also has a background in illustration, so I was really excited to see what her medium can bring into the design element and also like the everyday shop language of like us doing social media or putting out posters or designing events. So that is like, it requires concentration and it's not always so fun. I feel like I'm trying my best to move forward, but like with all of the exciting things like people joining the team, there's also the element of unknown, like wondering if investing in this way and like putting the resources and time and energy into the shop will like pay off. So that's like a very big contrast between like just like being all excited on social media and like celebrating your wins and doing like what you've already done again and again because it's like a comfort zone versus now really like doing what I would think is like the artist's work, which is like writing the unwritten or coming up with new ideas that haven't been done. And that's actually really unsettling for me. So that's a part of like realizing I think that's the right track to be on, even though it feels really, really not comfortable. Like this discomfort, I think, is just growing pains. But like, I think we're so addicted to our phones for a constant stream of dopamine, and it's reliable. Like it's literally at our fingertips, like never before in human history. So I felt myself like wanting to be addicted to my phone after I came back from my vacation, but just really trying to take measures to pull back and ground myself. And that has been with good result. Like I'm glad that I did that because it really took time for me to think like, what do I want? Who am I after all of this has happened? Because a lot of times when you're in different environments, I find myself always wanting to tailor myself to what I think people would want or want to expect of me. So if it's in like this TV world and people are like, oh, you're so great, you're so great, you should do this, you can be on that show, you can do this. And momentarily you might even be convinced of like, oh yeah, I can, maybe I should, maybe I will. And then I come back to different environments where I'm like talking to artists in my community and then I crave something else or I feel like I'm missing out on something else. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to be conscious of choosing what you want because the reality is there are hundreds of options and there are so many different choices that you can make. So life is just a series of choices and it's about letting go of wondering like which one is better and more just like which one feels natural or what actually feels like calls out to you authentically. Because to be very sincere with you, I think I feel very fatigued at the end of the month when realizing that there's so much effort put towards striving to things that I'm not so genuinely excited about, that's not very authentic to me, but I know I could do or I should do because it will get me what is like socially conditioned to be accepted or liked or validated as finally good enough. So those are like, I think, wounds that I think about a lot and things that are not fully resolved, but more resolved than before because I'm actually like putting words to it and understanding what's going on and like hopefully avoiding doing things for the wrong reasons. So yeah, I feel very excited to in a way like usher in a new chapter for myself mentally because I've done many things that I think a younger version of myself would have thought like, oh my gosh, like this would be the ultimate goal and I'm gonna be so happy forever and satisfied with this if I achieve this thing. And I feel like that's the crux of putting your happiness on a result like that. When you think like you'll be happy when you get something, happiness is the way of getting things. You know, it's something that you have to set out to embody and be. I ran out of space. As much as I want to share with you more details what I'm saying, I think this is a sign for my camera that I need to go, but I will talk about this more in my upcoming weekly vlog with you. I want to just send a message to you today that I hope that you feel confident in your instincts, to trust that it's okay if you want something different than what you think that your environment asks of you, because at the end of the day, you have something to give, and you can serve best from when your cup is full, and your cup is full from when you are being yourself. So I hope that you don't feel pressured to be someone that you're not. I trust that at the end of this life, staying true to yourself is the most important thing, especially in the midst of the unknown. And it's just one step at a time. So I'm excited to share with you all the things that have been on my mind, but I evidently ran out of SD card space. So I'm just going to continue this conversation in next week's vlog. But I love you very much, and I hope that you enjoyed my little October diaries. And take care of yourself, please. Bye-bye.